Hello. Today, sans makeup. I don't know why I look so much better in the picture than with this. As soon as I turn this into a movie, my hair looks like a rat's hair, and I get this not very good look, but whatever. I'm just practicing. I'm practicing until I make perfect. That's the idea. I told my daughter that. I taught my daughter a new trick. Old dogs and their new tricks. So, today I am going to talk a little bit about what I do in therapy. And what I do is a combination of myriad of interventions. I go into my toolbox and I take different tools, different techniques, depending on what the person brings to me. People bring to me anxiety. People bring to me depression. People bring me a combination. People bring me OCD. People bring me trauma because I specialize in trauma. And people bring me other issues. And I have couples, and couples bring me a myriad of complexities that I try to juggle. I do juggle. I don't try, I do. And whether it serves them well. And couples therapy is tricky. It's complex and it takes a long time, and sometimes couples are not ready. It's hard. So I'm going to continue to love doing couples. I'm going to continue loving to do trauma and continuing to do trauma. And I'm going to explain in this video what I do. I do the initial appointment, the initial session, which is an session where I get to know you. Who are you? What you're bringing to the table? What would you like me to assist you with? And that is what we're going to work with. Then I ask you a series of questions. What's your family background? What's your cultural upbringing? What part of the country? What part of the world? How were you brought up? Single parent, couple parents are still together, they're passed, siblings, family, do you have a collective around you? Do you have good support system? Are you alone? What brought you to wherever you are? If you're somewhere that's not your place of birth or place of growing up. And then we start getting into the meat of the session, and that's usually by the second session. And then we start figuring out what makes you tick. And what makes you tick can be a series of things. You bring with you bring your culture, you bring your nature. You are born not a tabula rasa, not an empty vessel, but DNA influences from when you were in utero, your mother's DNA, your father's DNA, your culture's DNA, and that's going to make the soup. And then on that, we don't come with instructions, and usually it's the people who bring us up who give us the instructions. They bring us up, they tell us, and the instructions are do this, don't do that, it's okay, gentle parenting, hard parenting, beating up, which is against the law, go sit in your room, go sit in the dark, which is awful, and a variety of interventions. Paying attention, how attentive the parents are, whether the parents fight, whether they get divorced. There are so many issues. There are so many parts that come together to make you who you are, and will inform how you relate to others. From an attachment perspective, are you avoidant? Do you avoid people? Are you an introvert? Are you an extrovert? Do you get energy from being around people, or do you feel that people suck your energy? Then from an attachment perspective, going back to that, do you feel that you're avoidant, you're suspicious? There's many, many studies on attachment theory. Are you the kind of person that feels that you have to pretend that you're secure, but you're not, and you shut down and you don't ask for help? Or are you the kind of person who is really secure because you know what? You felt that all through your life things were okay. You never felt like the floor under you is going to be taken out. So you were grounded. Your house, meaning your structural makeup had a good foundation and good walls and good support. So that's an attached person. And then there's the anxious. Don't leave me, don't leave me, don't leave me. Always asking, always feeling like you're about to be abandoned. Now, people who are avoidant also some wonder that, but they don't manifest it. It's often how you manifest one aspect of you that will determine who you are, and that's why now we have the avoidment anxious, the attached avoidant anxious person, which is basically what used to be anxious. But that's not it. Then we go to, did you suffer any traumas? And I'm talking about serious trauma, sexual trauma, major accidents, car accidents. Did you watch your parents physically assault each other? Were you left alone for many hours at a time, crying without food? Were you brought up in a secure environment? Were you brought up in an environment which made you feel that you were in danger, and made you react with the fear, the fight, flight, freeze? See, this is where I freeze. This is why I need to keep practicing this. And so this would be where we would do some trauma therapy. And what I like to do, what I feel comfortable, I have good training on various kinds of therapy. I did a good amount of exposure therapy. I think exposure therapy is really good for fear of snakes, for fear of tarantulas, I did it on myself for fear of not tarantulas, but, creepy crawlies. And also for elevators or tight spaces, OCD type things. It's but you have to be there with the person while they do it. They have to do the exposure. You kind of have to be there. So teletherapy and OCD exposure therapy don't work really well. What does work is EMDR. And EMDR stands for, see if I can do this. I can't. I can never do this. M stands for bilateral. Nope. I can't do it. So this is where I always fail. And not that I've not done this a ton, but I can't memorize certain things. It drives me crazy. It drives me crazy that I cannot memorize what EM stands for, especially the desensitization, movement, eye movement. It's the simple ones. The other day I couldn't remember what the E stood for. Eye movement and desensitization and reprocessing therapy. So, eye movement, desensitization, which means you become insensitive to a stimulus, and then we reprocess at the end of the movements. When we've done enough movements, we see that if you're in high level of anxiety that you were having at the beginning when you were working with this particular memory, whether this is still at a 1 to 10, 1 being not a problem, 10 being being crawling out of your skin, whether you're at a 10 or you're at a therapeutic 1, which is the minimum that we can do. However, I've done 0.5, and a 0.5 person needed to process that 0.5, and she did, and took another half hour, and then she was ready. So this is complicated. It's fun, but it's complicated. And it's complicated because you have to know, you have to look at the person. The person is not doing a lot of talking. They're doing 3 or maximum 3 sentences. They are watching you do this, and they are doing their own inner work, putting their memories, organizing their memories. We're not lobotomizing people. We're not hypnotizing people, although this does a little bit of a hypnogenetic work, but that's not what we do. What we do is we help the person process their memories. And so this is what we do. And I also do ACT and cognitive behavioral therapy in the form of ACT, which is the so-called third wave of the cognitive behavioral cognitive therapies. And ACT stands for acceptance and commitment therapy. It is cognitive behavioral therapy with values and mindfulness attached. I don't usually do DBT. I'm well informed on DBT. I ran DBT groups, but it's not a modality that I'm very comfortable with. So I don't do it. I don't do IFS. It's also a model that I've been trained in. I was trained by Frank Anderson, who I think is absolutely the best. If you're going to do any training, do it with Frank Anderson. He is stellar, but it's just not my thing. And sometimes the people who came up with the models are not the ones who are the stars at doing the training. Doing trainings takes a particular kind of finesse. It takes a particular kind of knowing how to explain, how to make you feel like it requires a really good teacher, someone who knows. First of all, they have to know the issue inside out. They also have to connect with the person who's getting trained, and they have to go and reconnect with the stories they carry in their heads of what they've done with clients. And that's what the fun is. So to recap, I am a psychotherapist. I am a licensed clinical social worker. I have a PsyD in organizational psychology. I don't use that much. Maybe it'll be the last part of my profession. But what I really enjoy doing is talking to people, talking to couples, talking to individuals. And my strengths are cognitive behavioral therapy, the therapeutic alliance. That's the most important part. Connecting, being warm, being there, picking up on the tone, picking up on the anxiety, picking up on the fear before the person even is aware that they are starting to get anxious. You have to be paying attention. You have to be attuned to every moment. You have to be very present. And that's how I'm able to do this. It's fun, and I've done 15 minutes of practicing talking in front of a camera. Yay!